You spend 5 out of every 7 days working. 5 days on, 2 days off, over and over for about 50 years of your life. You never agreed to this. You were born into it. A small number of people decided it for you barely 100 years ago, and everyone has gone along with it ever since. For almost all of human history, nobody lived like this. Nobody worked a 5-day week because the idea didn't exist. So where did it come from? Why 5? Why 2? And why, in a world that's changed beyond recognition, are we still doing what a factory owner decided in the 1920s? Start with a thing nobody tells you. This is not natural, and it is not old. For most of human existence, there was no work week at all. Hunter-gatherers, the way humans lived for hundreds of thousands of years, worked maybe 15 to 20 hours a week finding food, and spent the rest resting, talking, doing nothing in particular. When farming came, people worked with the sun and the seasons, brutally hard at harvest, almost idle in deep winter. No clock, no schedule, no Monday. The rhythm of your life came from the land, not from a calendar someone handed you. Then came the machines. The Industrial Revolution dragged work out of the fields and into the factory, and everything changed. A factory doesn't care about sunsets or seasons. It runs on a clock, and it wants to run as long as possible. So people work 10, 12, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, men, women, and children, with a single day off. And that day, Sunday, wasn't a gift. It was for church. The weekend did not exist. There was work, a rest day forced by religion, and more work. So how did we get the second day? The first crack came in 1908, when a cotton mill in New England gave its workers a 5-day week, not out of generosity, but so its Jewish employees could keep their Saturday Sabbath without losing their jobs. Saturday off, plus Sunday. 2 days. It was one small factory. But the idea was loose in the world, and then came a man who would hand it to everyone. In 1926, Henry Ford, the most powerful industrialist alive, cut his factories to 5 days, 40 hours.
5-day hours.
Everyone assumed he'd lose money. He didn't, because Ford understood 2 things nobody had put together. First, a rested worker is a better worker. Push people past 40 hours and they turn slow and sloppy and make mistakes. You gain nothing. But the second reason is the one that really built your weekend. Ford didn't just make cars. He needed people to buy them. And a worker who's exhausted 6 days a week, with no time and no money, buys nothing. Give him a free Saturday and a decent wage and he goes out and spends. Your weekend wasn't only invented for rest. It was invented in part so you'd have time to shop. Other companies saw Ford's workers were happy and productive and copied him. And in 1938, in the middle of the Great Depression, America wrote it into law. The Fair Labor Standards Act made 40 hours the standard week, with extra pay beyond it. And there it froze. 5 days, 40 hours. Locked in place in 1938. And here's the part that should stop you. That was nearly 90 years ago. Since then, we've become vastly more productive. We make far more in an hour than anyone did back then. Economists like John Maynard Keynes looked at that and confidently predicted that by now we'd work 15-hour weeks, buried in free time. It never happened. All that extra productivity went somewhere, but not into giving you your time back. The 5-day week isn't a law of nature. It isn't even the best system anyone could design. It's a compromise from the 1920s we just never updated. So here's the full picture. The way you spend most of your waking life was never handed down by nature or chosen by you. Humans worked by the sun for thousands of years. The factory put us on the clock. A cotton mill cracked the door. Henry Ford flung it open, partly so we'd shop. And a depression law froze it in place. 5 and 2. Not sacred, not optimal, just old. So the next time your alarm goes off on a Monday, and that familiar weight lands on your chest, remember what you're really feeling. You're not lazy and you're not broken. You're running a schedule built for 1920s factories that mostly no longer exist. A rhythm decided by a car maker, and a Congress who never met you, and never imagined your life. 5 days on, 2 days off. It's one of the most powerful rules you live by, and almost no one remembers it was just made up.